Welcome to the lecture series on the subject Applied Thermodynamics, Module 4 in that Part 1, Refrigeration Cycles. This is lecture number 5 and myself Dr. N. Satish Kumar, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Canara Engineering College, Bantwal. So in this lecture, I'll be going through vapor absorption refrigeration system as well as steam jet refrigeration system. Coming to vapor absorption refrigeration, so this uses a refrigerant as well as an absorbent which can be a liquid or solid. Possibly the best known combination is ammonia as well as water. So ammonia as the refrigerant and water as absorbent is the best combination of fuels, working substances for the vapor absorption refrigeration. A vapor absorption refrigeration system does not have compressor. So that is the difference between VCR, that is vapor compression refrigeration system, and vapor absorption refrigeration system. So you cannot find any compressor. Instead, you can find a generator, absorber and a pump. Now let me explain the working of vapor absorption refrigeration system through a schematic diagram. Now let me explain the working of a vapor absorption refrigeration system by use of this schematic diagram. So let me explain the components first. So here you can see the evaporator. You know that evaporator is a place wherein the refrigerant absorbs heat from the cold refrigerated space. You can see this is the cold refrigerated space. Here is the amount of heat absorbed by the evaporator. Usually this will be the liquid refrigerant entering into the evaporator and vapor refrigerant. Now in this case it is ammonia is coming out and then it passes through an absorber, right? Then you have an heat exchanger here. Then you have the generator here. Okay. So this unit is called as generator. Then there is a rectifier and then you have the condenser. So this is a place where the refrigerant gives out its heat to the warm surroundings. Now let me start from the generator. So generator is the unit wherein the ammonia vapor is separated from the ammonia water solution. So this is a mixture of ammonia water solution. So when it enters into this chamber, it is a strong solution, but here some external source, by some external source, heat is added. You can see Qgen. So this is the coil through which some heat is added to this strong ammonia water solution. So ammonia gets vaporized and along with that some traces of water may also get vaporized and it passes through a device called as rectifier. Here in this rectifier the water vapors are cooled and condensed and supplied back to the generator, and pure ammonia vapor it passes through the to the condenser wherein it rejects its heat to the warm environment and gets condensed. The temperature and pressure of this condensate ammonia is further reduced by passing it through a expansion valve. So from here on the liquid refrigerant, liquid ammonia passes through the evaporator, absorbs heat from the cold refrigerated space and becomes vapor ammonia. So this vapor enters into the absorber. So here already water is there, you can see. So this part is the water. So here this water absorbs this ammonia and becomes a strong ammonia water solution. So here the cooling water is circulated through this liquid so that the temperature or heat of this is removed to some extent. And this strong ammonia water solution is pumped to the generator, but you can see there is a heat exchanger used between generator and the absorber. The purpose is, you see here you are supplying heat to this strong ammonia liquid water solution here. So this is hot now. So this has heat. So this heat, if you recover by passing it through exchanger and give it back to the cold strong ammonia water solution, then the Qgen what you would supply may be reduced. So this is a regeneration. So that is why this strong solution, hot solution or hot weak solution of ammonia and water is made to pass through this heat exchanger here in the downward direction, whereas strong ammonia solution is, which is at lower temperature than this weak solution, is made to pass in the upward direction, so that there is some heat transfer between the weak solution and the strong solution. Further, the temperature is reduced of this weak solution by passing it through a expansion valve, and here this weak solution, then it absorbs the ammonia and becomes a strong solution, and the process repeats. So this is how a vapor absorption refrigeration system works. So you can draw a neat diagram of this and you can explain this by your own words. Now the advantage of vapor absorption refrigeration system are, so it has no moving parts, okay, so less wear and tear, less maintenance, low grade fuels can be used, waste heat can be used, system not affected by variation of loads, no electricity required, no chance of leakage. But disadvantages are low COP, bulky, the size is more and the cost is more initially. So vapor absorption refrigeration system using solar energy, okay, you have to highlight this, solar energy as the heat source to the generator hold a great promise for the future. So now you are supplying some heat, so maybe you are using some electricity to supply the heat to the generator, wherein the ammonia gets vaporized from the ammonia water solution. So in place of electricity, if you can use the solar energy, so that has a promising future, okay. So and it can be used in the area of food preservation as well as the comfort cooling. Now let me explain the steam jet refrigeration. So it operates on the principle of reducing the boiling point of water below 100 degrees Celsius by reducing the pressure on the surface of water below atmospheric pressure. So now you have to understand this point very clearly. As all of you know, the pressure and temperature, that is the boiling pressure and boiling temperature, or the boiling temperature depends on the pressure. So if the pressure changes, the boiling point also changes. So at atmospheric pressure, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Now if reduce the pressure below atmospheric pressure, so then water can evaporate at a temperature lesser than 100 degrees Celsius. So this principle is used in case of steam jet refrigeration. So anything or any pressure less than atmospheric is called as vacuum. So this low pressure or high vacuum is created by created by using a throttling the steam through the jet of or nozzles. So you have to use a jet or nozzle wherein you have to pass the steam, and thereby you have to reduce the pressure or create high vacuum, so that water evaporates at a lower temperature than that of the 100 degree Celsius. So the system consists of an evaporator or flash chamber, nozzle, then surface type barometric condenser, then some circulating pumps. Now you can see here, so this is the flash tank. So here you can see this is the cooling load or the AC plant. So cold water is from the flash tank is passed through the circulating pump, this is chilled water it is written, through this cooling load or the AC plant, where it absorbs the heat and it becomes hot and it passes through, or it is passed to the flash tank. So in the flash tank it is sprayed here. So in some of the diagrams you can see the flasher here. So water is splashed into this flash tank. Now when this water is splashed, some of the water gets evaporated, right? At the meantime, here high pressure steam is passed through a steam nozzle here. So when high pressure steam passes through steam nozzle, so here pressure reduces or vacuum is created, so that makes more water to evaporate, and that water evaporated passes in the upward direction from the flash tank. So it carries latent heat of water, so thereby the water temperature in the flash tank it gets reduced, or water gets cooled, or chilled water you will get, which can be supplied as the working substance to reduce the heat of the cooling load or the AC plant. Now further, the steam, which is vapor and the steam, now it is compressed here, and then it is passed through a diffuser, and then it is passed through a condenser where the heat is removed. Okay, so you have the two cycles. So one cycle is like this, that is for the cooling load, and one for the high pressure high pressure steam passing through the nozzle and then through this thermal compressor. Okay, so compensating water, if it is required, or makeup water is required, so that has to be supplied separately. So condenser also has an external water connection wherein the cold water is supplied and used to remove the heat of this steam, and it gets heated and supplied in the, or passed in the other side. Okay, now this water from the condenser, it is passed through the condensate pump and again it is supplied to the boiler. So this circuit is not shown. If you want to show, you can show it in this way. So you can show a boiler here, and then there from the boiler high pressure steam enters. So there are two cycles in this steam jet refrigeration system. Okay, these are the few points about the steam jet refrigeration system. Boiler supplies high pressure steam to the nozzle inlet where steam expands. The warm water returning from the AC plant is sprayed through the nozzle in the flash chamber to ensure maximum surface area for evaporation. The water vapor leaving the flash chamber mixes with the high velocity steam from the nozzle. So that is where the high velocity steam from the nozzle, because there when it comes out at the high velocity, the pressure reduces. So this vapor from the flash chamber gets moved upwards. Okay, gets further compressed in a thermocompressor. Then kinetic energy is converted into pressure energy, and the mass discharged into the condenser returns as a condensate to the boiler. That's what I told. The condensate from the condenser is passed to the boiler again. About 1% evaporation of water in evaporator is sufficient to reduce the temperature of water to 6 degrees Celsius or by 6 degrees Celsius. So the chilled water is circulated to the AC plant, which returns as warm water into the flash chamber. So chilled water, what you get from the flash chamber at the bottom, because every 1% evaporation of water in the evaporator is sufficient to reduce the temperature of water by 6 degrees Celsius. You see? So such an effective method to reduce the temperature of water. So cold water is passed to the AC plant and it returns as the warm water. The water lost due to evaporation in the flash chamber and any loss of cold water is compensated by makeup water. Air dissolved in feed water is released in the condenser of the system and covers the condensed surfaces along with other gases and increases the condenser pressure. The air is removed by using small two-stage air ejector to maintain high vacuum. So any air in the feed water, so it is removed by an two-stage air ejector pump. In order to maintain temperature in the evaporator below 0 degrees Celsius, it is necessary to add antifreeze or brine. Suppose if you want the temperature of water to be below 0 degrees Celsius in the evaporator, so then you would add antifreeze or brine solution. Okay. Now the limitations of this steam jet refrigeration system is it requires high vacuum, very high vacuum, and cannot be used if the temperature in the evaporator is below 0 degree Celsius. Size of the compressor should be larger to handle large volume. The compression ratio used in the thermocompressor is limited to 8 only. Heat removed in the condenser is almost double as compared to vapor compression system. So in the condenser, what the heat removed is double than that of the vapor compression system. And coming to the advantages, due to no moving parts, it is noiseless and it is flexible in operation as cooling capacity can be quickly changed. Weight per ton of refrigeration is low and plant life is more. Used in cold water processing of rubber mills, chemical and food processing plants, breweries and refineries, etc. Safer in operation, absolutely no hazard from leakage. Cheaper in operation and easy to maintain. Useful in comfort air conditioning but not suitable if water temperature is below 4 degrees Celsius. So with that I conclude the theory part of this part 1 refrigeration cycles with this lecture number 5. So in the coming 2 lectures, this lecture number 6 and 7, I will take up few problems. Thank you till then. Bye.